The nervous system never clocks out. You leave the office, you get in your car, you get home, you sit down for dinner, you try to watch something, you try to relax, but something won't switch off. There's a tension sitting somewhere behind your shoulders, a low hum of unease that followed you home without asking permission. A part of your brain that is still at work, still scanning, still processing, still braced for whatever comes next. And no matter what you do in the evening, you cannot fully shake it. This is not stress in the ordinary sense of the word. This is what happens when a workplace has trained your nervous system to stay on high alert, when an environment is unpredictable, when you don't know what mood your manager will be in, when the rules seem to shift without warning, when you've learned that something can go wrong at any moment, and that when it does, you will somehow be responsible. Your nervous system makes a decision. It decides not to relax, because in an environment like that, relaxing is a risk. The problem is that the nervous system doesn't have a gate at the office door. It doesn't check whether you're still at work or not. It just maintains the setting it learned was necessary. And so you carry the workplace home inside your body, every evening, every weekend, every morning you wake up, already tired from the tension you held all night. That's not a personal failing. That's a nervous system doing exactly what it was trained to do. Hypervigilance to social cues. In a healthy workplace, you can walk past your manager in the hallway and not think twice about it. In a toxic one, that same walk past becomes a data collection exercise. Did they make eye contact? Was the greeting shorter than usual? Did their expression change when they saw you? Were they talking to someone they don't normally talk to? And could that possibly be about you? This constant scanning of social signals, reading every interaction for hidden threat, is called hypervigilance. And toxic workplaces manufacture it with remarkable efficiency. Here's why. When an environment is unpredictable and the consequences of getting things wrong are significant, being humiliated, blamed, passed over, dismissed, the brain recalibrates its threat detection system. It starts treating every ambiguous social signal as potential danger data. A neutral face becomes a cold face. A delayed reply becomes a sign of disapproval. An unexpected meeting invitation becomes a source of dread rather than just a meeting. And the relentless energy that this takes, the cognitive and emotional cost of scanning every interaction for threat, every minute of every working day, is one of the reasons toxic workplaces are so profoundly exhausting in ways that go far beyond the actual work being done. You aren't tired because of the tasks. You're tired because your brain has been working a second job all day, running threat assessments on every single human interaction you've had. Self-doubt becomes the default. Toxic workplaces have a signature move, and it's this: they make you question yourself. Not loudly most of the time, not through outright accusation, but through a slow, steady erosion of your confidence in your own perception, your own judgment, your own competence. Your idea gets dismissed without explanation. Your contribution gets minimized or claimed by someone else. You're told, directly or indirectly, that you're too sensitive, too slow, too much, not enough. And at first, you push back internally. You know what you saw. You know what you contributed. You know what was said. But when that pattern repeats, day after day, month after month, something starts to shift. The brain, which is extraordinarily sensitive to social consensus, begins to wonder if everyone else might be right. Maybe I am the problem. Maybe I'm not as capable as I thought. Maybe I've been overestimating myself. Psychologists call this induced self-doubt. And in its most extreme form, when a workplace or individual systematically causes someone to question their own reality, it meets the clinical definition of gaslighting. But even in its milder, more common forms, the damage is real. People leave toxic workplaces not just exhausted, but smaller, less certain of themselves, less willing to speak up, take risks, or trust their own instincts. Rebuilding that trust in yourself after a toxic workplace is one of the quietest and most underestimated forms of recovery work that exists. The body starts keeping score. Your brain and your body are not separate systems running parallel to each other. They are one interconnected system. And what the brain experiences, the body registers. Research on chronic workplace stress is unambiguous on this point. Sustained exposure to a toxic work environment doesn't just affect mood and cognition, it produces measurable physical changes. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, stays elevated, and chronically elevated cortisol disrupts sleep, suppresses immune function, increases inflammation, raises blood pressure, and interferes with digestion. People in toxic workplaces get sick more often. They sleep badly. They develop headaches, back pain, gastrointestinal problems. They catch every virus that passes through because their immune system is running depleted. And because these physical symptoms don't come with a label attached that says caused by your workplace, people often don't connect them. They treat the headaches and the insomnia and the constant low-grade illness as separate problems to be managed individually. Meanwhile, the root cause continues unchanged. The body is not being dramatic. The body is not making things up. The body is accurately reporting what the brain has been experiencing every single working day. It is keeping score with perfect precision. And eventually, if nothing changes, it will present the bill. Learned helplessness. This one is perhaps the most psychologically damaging effect of a toxic workplace, and the least visible from the outside. Psychologist Martin Seligman first described learned helplessness through experiments where subjects were repeatedly exposed to negative situations they had no control over. After enough repetition, something profound happened. Even when the situation changed, even when escape or control became possible, the subjects stopped trying. They had learned, at a deep neurological level, that their actions didn't matter. That trying made no difference, so they stopped trying. Toxic workplaces produce exactly this effect in human beings. When your efforts are consistently undermined, when your good work goes unrecognized while your mistakes are amplified, when the rules keep changing in ways that make success feel impossible, when you try to raise concerns and nothing happens, or worse, things get harder for you, the brain makes an update. Trying doesn't work here, and once that update is made, motivation drains away, initiative disappears. The person who once brought ideas and energy to their work sits quietly and does the minimum, not because they've become lazy, but because their brain has learned through repeated experience that effort produces nothing. The tragic part is what happens when these people leave toxic workplaces and arrive somewhere healthy. The learned helplessness comes with them. They wait to be told what to do because taking initiative once led to punishment. They don't speak up because speaking up once led to nothing. They hold back the full weight of what they're capable of because the last place they showed it, it was used against them. Unlearning helplessness requires a different kind of environment. Patient, consistent, and safe enough to prove, slowly, through experience, that trying works here. Identity gets swallowed. When you spend the majority of your waking hours in an environment that defines you negatively, that treats you as a problem, a commodity, or simply invisible, something starts to happen to how you see yourself. The workplace identity begins to overwrite everything else. People in toxic workplaces often describe losing themselves in ways they struggle to articulate. They stop doing things they used to love. Their relationships outside of work begin to suffer because they bring home a version of themselves that is depleted, irritable, and emotionally unavailable. They stop being the person they were before, and they can't fully explain when or how the shift happened. Psychology research on identity and environment is clear on this. We are profoundly shaped by the social contexts we inhabit, and a context that consistently tells you, through how it treats you, that you are not valued, not trusted, not capable, not worthy of basic respect, starts to become the voice you hear in your own head, not because it's true, but because the brain, surrounded by a consistent message long enough, begins to absorb it. Reclaiming your identity after a toxic workplace isn't vanity. It is necessary. It is urgent. And it begins with remembering, with whatever evidence you can gather from before, who you were when someone finally treated you the way you deserved. The long shadow. And finally, the one that surprises people the most. You leave the toxic workplace. Maybe you fought to get out. Maybe you were pushed. Either way, you're out. It's over. New job, new environment, new start. And yet, the new manager asks to speak with you privately, and your heart rate spikes before you've even stood up. Someone gives you feedback, gentle, constructive, genuinely well-intentioned feedback, and something inside you shuts down or flares up in a way that feels completely disproportionate. You find yourself waiting for the environment to turn, for the mask to slip, for the moment when the new place reveals itself to be exactly like the last one. This is not paranoia. This is not ingratitude toward the new workplace. This is a brain that was conditioned, that learned, through sustained and repeated experience, that workplaces are dangerous, that people in authority cannot be trusted, that good environments are just bad ones that haven't shown their hand yet. Conditioning takes time to undo. It requires new data, consistently delivered, over an extended period, by an environment that is genuinely what it appears to be. The brain will update. It always does, eventually when the evidence is strong enough and sustained enough, but it updates on its own timeline. And in the meantime, the most important thing to understand is this. Your reactions are not overreactions. They are the perfectly logical responses of a brain that learned the hard way what workplaces can do. And that brain deserves patience. From others, and most of all, from you.